Hello, hello. This video is going to cover subtracting rational numbers. And again, what I mean by rational numbers are fractions and decimals. So, just like I said before, when you need to subtract or even add fractions, you need the common denominator. The difference here is I want you to change the subtraction to addition first. You know that first rule that we have with subtraction problems, subtraction of integers? That's what I want you to do first. So this is the same thing as negative 2/3 plus a negative 1/4. Remember, I put parentheses in to separate that addition sign from that negative sign. Okay? So now we need common denominator, just like before. So ignore the negative symbols and come up with your common denominator. The common denominator for both will be 12. The first one becomes 8/12 because I multiplied the top and the bottom by 4/4. I'll put the negative back with it. Plus, this one will become 3/12 because I multiplied top and bottom by 3. I'll put the negative back with it. Now that I have a common denominator, I could look at the numerators, and I have a negative 8 plus a negative 3. The signs are the same, so I'll add the numbers. 8 and 3 is 11, and I'll keep the sign. Negative. Now, when you do this, you could write this like this. Negative 11 over 12. You could write 11 over 12 with a negative in the middle. You could write 11 over 12 with a negative on the bottom if you want. Well, the most common one that you'll see, though, is this, and then that one probably. But either way, it would still work. So don't worry about where you put the negative. Just make sure that it can be seen. Moving on, moving on, moving on. When you have mixed numbers, again, I suggest that you make them improper first. If these problems look familiar, it's because these are the exact same ones I used for addition. I just changed them to subtraction and maybe threw in a couple more negatives so that you get the idea, okay? That's why I'm not spending a lot of time going over how to convert these either and come up with common denominators because we've already done it. All right, the first one, again, what I'm going to do is the first thing is I'm going to change this to addition plus, a negative 5 and 1/4. Now what I want to do is make them improper. When I make them improper, I'm going to completely ignore the negative sign. This one becomes 25 over 8, because 3 times 8 is 24, plus that 1. I'll put the negative back. Now I'll change the next one. That becomes 21 over 4. I'll put the negative back. Come up with a common denominator, and it's going to be 8. I only need to change the second fraction, so the first one I'm going to leave alone. The second one becomes a negative 42 over 8. Now I'll look at, I have a common denominator, I'll look at the numerators. I have both of them are negative, so I'm going to add the numerators, 25 plus 42, and I get 67 over same denominator. And then I'm going to keep the sign. Because the sign's the same, I add the numbers and keep the sign. I don't want to leave this improper. I want to make it mixed. When I make it mixed, again, I ignore the negative sign. I can just put it out here in the front because I know the answer is still going to be negative. And I say, all right, how many times does 8 go into 67? It goes in 8 times. 8 times 8 is 64. 67 minus that 64 is 3, and the denominator stays the same. So my answer is a negative 8 and 3/8. Let's try some decimals. Adding and subtracting decimals, remember that you need to line up the decimals, and you fill in the blanks with zeros. And again, put the bigger number on top. Not the one with the more digits, the bigger number. So, first thing I'm going to do, just like before, is I'm going to change this to addition. And then what I'm going to do is put the bigger number on top to get ready to do the actual calculation. 0.05. I'm going to fill in this blank here with 0. And then if I look, they're both negative, which means I want to add the numbers. So 0 plus 5 is 5. This becomes 8. Decimal straight down, 1. They're both negative, so the answer stays negative. Okay? To the next one. Change it. Negative 2.04. Negative, or minus a negative becomes plus a positive. 1.8093. I'm going to put the bigger number on top. Yes, 2.04 is larger. It doesn't have as many digits, but 2 is greater than 1. And then I'm going to write this. I'm going to fill in the blanks here with zeros. And then my signs are different, so I'm going to subtract the numbers. I got a lot of borrowing to do here. So look at this. I need a 0, a 0, a 0. I'm going to start here. 4, this becomes a 3. This is a 10. I got to borrow again. That becomes a 9. This becomes a 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. 9 minus 9 is 0. 3 minus 0 is 3. And 0 minus 8 I can't do. I'm going to borrow again. That becomes 1. This is 10. 10 minus 8 is 2. And then in the front, 1 minus 1 is 0. Now, if I go back to the problem and I have negative and positive, what's the bigger number? This is the greater absolute value, so my answer is negative. All right? The last problem on the next page, you are going to do yourself because it's a fun one. Remember these? What I want you to do is convert it to all fractions or all decimals and go ahead and do the math. This is a tricky problem. Take your time. I want you to do this one. Pause the video now. All right. For this problem, I converted them all to decimals because I thought that would be the easiest thing to do. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write my decimals and change the signs all at the same time. So plus 0.25. This is already addition, so I'm going to loop 1/5 is 0.2, 0.2, and then plus a negative 2.005. Now when I'm doing this problem, I'm going to do my math off to the right here, but the first thing I'm going to do is these two. I'm going to combine those two. Remember, it's all addition, so our commutative property says you can do it in any order, but I'm just going to go from left to right. So I have 2.5 is going to go on top, 2.5, and 0.25 goes on the bottom. Fill in the space with 0. The signs are different, so I'm going to subtract the numbers. I'm going to borrow from this 5, it becomes 4. That becomes 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 4 minus 2 is 2. Decimal straight down. This becomes 2. Now, in the original problems, the 2.5 is a larger number, and it's negative, so the answer is negative. So this becomes negative 2.25. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write the rest of the problem. The reason I'm doing this is so that way I don't lose track of what I've done and what I have not done. 0.05. Now what I'm going to do is combine the next two. So I have 2.25 up on top, and I have a 0.2 on the bottom. Fill in the blank with zeros. The signs are different again, so again I'm going to subtract the numbers. 5 minus 0 is 5, 2 minus 2 is 0, 2 minus 0 is 2. Then when I look back at the problem, I say, alright, well the 2.25 is the greater, it's negative, so I'm still negative. Come down here and I have negative 2.05. The only thing I have left to do then is add this negative 2.005. So I'm going to line them up once again. 2.05 and 2.005. I'm going to put a 0 in that space. The signs are the same this time, so I'm going to add the numbers. This is 5, 5, 0, decimal straight down, 4. Signs are the same, I added them, and I keep the sign. So my final answer is a negative 4.055. Hopefully you got that, and if you did, give yourself a pat on the back. Good job!